నవరాత్రి స్పెషల్గా నేను నా ఛానల్లో ఒక సిరీస్ స్టార్ట్ చేశాను. అది జయతి, సెలబ్రేటింగ్ ద పవర్ ఆఫ్ విమెన్. ఇందులో అష్టలక్ష్ములను రిప్రజెంట్ చేస్తూ వివిధ రంగాల్లో అత్యద్భుతంగా రాణిస్తూ ఎంతో సక్సెస్ సాధించిన కొంతమంది మహిళలని గుర్తించి వాళ్లతో ఈ ఇంటర్వ్యూ సిరీస్ చేస్తున్నాను. సో అందులో భాగంగా ధైర్యలక్ష్మి కేటగిరీలో ఐపీఎస్ ఆఫీసర్ శిఖా గోయల్, Director General of Police CID, Director Cyber Security, In Charge Director Forensic Science Laboratories and Women's Safety Wing, Government of Telangana. So let's talk to her. Hi ma'am, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
So much ma'am.
Pleasure.
For being on my show.
Pleasure.
Ma'am, ఇప్పుడు ప్యారలల్గా ఇన్ని బరువైన డిపార్ట్మెంట్స్ని మీరు హ్యాండిల్ చేస్తున్నారు. How are you feeling ma'am? Do you feel a sense of pride?
It's just my work, but I feel really energized with because you keep running around for doing so many things. So it's energizing. It's very satisfying. I feel good about it.
నేను మిమ్మల్ని స్పెసిఫిక్గా అడుగుతా, ఇప్పుడు ఈ 4 డిపార్ట్మెంట్స్ని మీరు హ్యాండిల్ చేస్తున్నారు. రెగ్యులర్గా ఏ డిపార్ట్మెంట్ నుంచి ఎక్కువగా వర్క్ ఉంటుంది అని అడిగితే ఏం చెప్తారు?
ప్రెసెంట్గా సైబర్ క్రైమ్స్లో, బికాస్ మీకు తెలుసా సైబర్ క్రైమ్ ఇస్ ద ఫాస్టెస్ట్ గ్రోయింగ్ క్రైమ్. సో ఇది ప్రతిరోజు మన 1930లో తెలంగాణలో ఫైనాన్షియల్ ఫ్రాడ్ గురించి యావరేజ్గా 250 కంప్లైంట్స్ వస్తున్నాయి, ఓన్లీ ఫైనాన్షియల్. అండ్ తర్వాత మన ప్రతిరోజు ఆల్మోస్ట్ ఆన్ అన్ యావరేజ్ 5 crore ఇస్ బీయింగ్ లాస్ట్ ఇన్ అవర్ స్టేట్ ఇట్స్.
మ్యామ్, నేను ఒకటి చదివాను, నేషనల్ క్రైమ్ రికార్డ్స్ ప్రకారం అంట 2025 జస్ట్ 1 yearలో దే వర్ సేయింగ్ దట్ ఇట్ కుడ్ టచ్ సమ్ 10.5 trillion dollars.
Yeah, so
అంతగా
so that is
ఫ్రాడ్యులెంట్ యాక్టివిటీస్ జరుగుతాయని
ఇండియా ఫిగర్ కాదు, వరల్డ్ ఓవర్ ఫిగర్ ఉంది. అండ్ సో దే సే దట్ if you treat cyber crime as a country, then in 2025 it will be the third largest economy. US, China tarvata the third largest economy will be cyber crimes.
So ఈ ప్రాసెస్లో when the cases come to you and you start investigating, what are the shocking revelations మీరు అబ్జర్వ్ చేసింది ఏంటి మ్యామ్?
సైబర్ క్రైమ్లో ఫస్ట్ ప్రాబ్లం వాట్ మేజర్ ఇస్ దట్ ఇది క్రిమినల్కి బాగా అనానిమిటీ ఉంటుంది. అండ్ హీ ఆర్ షీ కెన్ సిట్ ఎనీవేర్ అక్రాస్ ద గ్లోబ్ అండ్ మల్టిపల్ విక్టిమ్స్ క్యాన్ బి దేర్. సో వారికి పట్టుకోవడానికి చాలా కష్టం ఉంది బికాస్ ఆఫ్ అనానిమిటీ అండ్ దిస్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ అ థింగ్. ఇప్పుడు మన సౌత్ ఈస్ట్ ఏషియన్ కంట్రీస్ ఉన్నాయి, మన గోల్డెన్ ట్రయాంగిల్ విచ్ వీ కాల్ యాజ్ వియత్నాం, కంబోడియా, మయన్మార్. నౌ దీస్ 3 countries అక్కడే ఇండస్ట్రీ లాగా యునో హబ్స్ క్రియేట్ అయింది ఫర్ కమిటింగ్ సైబర్ క్రైమ్స్. నౌ వెన్ అక్యూజ్డ్ ఇస్ సిట్టింగ్ అక్రాస్ ద కంట్రీ బార్డర్, దెన్ ఫర్ లా ఎన్ఫోర్స్మెంట్ ఏజెన్సీ వారికి పట్టుకోవడానికి చాలా కష్టం ఉంటుంది. ద అదర్ పార్ట్ ఇస్ ద షాకింగ్ పార్ట్ ఇస్ ద నంబర్ ఆఫ్ విక్టిమ్స్ అక్రాస్ ద గ్లోబ్ and the weight is increasing, and the other is that the amount of money which people are being scammed. ఇప్పుడు వరకు తెలంగాణలో the highest lost single case లో in a individual case, అది కంపెనీస్కి ఫ్రాడ్ అయితే అదే వేరే విషయం ఉంది, is 16 crores.
16 crores?
Yeah, in one single case by an individual. So that is really very surprising how people ట్రాన్స్ఫర్ మనీ ఇంటూ అన్నోన్ అకౌంట్స్. ఇది సైబర్ క్రైమ్లో ఇది క్యాష్ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్స్ ఏం లేదు కదా, ఎవ్రీవేర్ యూ ఆర్ ట్రాన్స్ఫరింగ్ మనీ ఆన్లైన్. సో ఇది ఆన్లైన్ అన్నోన్ అకౌంట్స్లో ఎంత డబ్బు పంపిస్తారు. ఇట్స్ రియలీ సర్ప్రైజింగ్, షాకింగ్, సాడ్. మేజర్గా ఈదర్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ల్యూర్ ఆఫ్ క్విక్ మనీ, అదే మన ఇన్వెస్ట్మెంట్ స్టాక్ ఇన్వెస్ట్మెంట్ ఫ్రాడ్స్లో దట్ ఈస్ ద థింగ్ దట్ యూ విల్ హ్యావ్ 2000% ఇంక్రీజ్ ఆర్ సంథింగ్, ఆర్ ఫియర్ లైక్ మన కొరియర్ ఫ్రాడ్లో ఉంటుంది, డిజిటల్ అరెస్ట్లో ఉంది. దాట్ ఈస్ సంథింగ్ విచ్ ఇస్ రియలీ రియలీ సర్ప్రైజింగ్, షాకింగ్, సాడ్ ఫర్ అస్.
చాలా మంది చదువుకున్న వాళ్ళు దీనికి బాధితులు అవుతున్నారని. ఐ మై సెల్ఫ్ ఇంకొంచెం ఉంటే ట్రాప్లో పడేదాన్ని మ్యామ్. 5-6 months బ్యాక్ ఐ గాట్ అ కాల్. నాకు ఒక 2 numbers ఉన్నాయి, మీది ఒక నంబరు ప్రాబ్లంలో ఉంది, ఇట్ ఈస్ ఇండల్జింగ్ ఇన్ సమ్ యాంటీ సోషల్ యాక్టివిటీస్ అని. నేను అన్నాను వాట్ నాన్ సెన్స్, బికాస్ ఐ ఆబ్వియస్లీ ఐఎమ్ నాట్ ఇన్ టు దట్, సో ఐ వుడెంట్ బిలీవ్. బట్ హూ ఇస్ దిస్ పర్సన్ అనేసి ఐ వాంటెడ్ టు నో. ఓకే, దెన్ ఐ స్టార్టెడ్ టాకింగ్ టు దట్ పర్సన్ టు అండర్స్టాండ్ వాట్ ఈస్ ఈ డూయింగ్ అండ్ దెన్ ఈ టోల్డ్ మీ టు స్కైప్ నంబర్ ఏదో ఇచ్చేసి
Skype లో, yeah.
యూ హ్యావ్ టు టాక్ టు దట్ సమ్ మహారాష్ట్ర పోలీస్, యువర్ కేస్ ఇస్ ఇన్ దట్ పర్టిక్యులర్.
typical MO ఉంది. Issue is that everyone, all of us, either we have become victims or they have attempted to make us victims.
Exactly.
Why some of us have not become victim is only because we are alert and conscious what we are doing. Otherwise the scamsters have called, I mean there is no person who would not have received a call or a message or something. They have reached.
నీకు వచ్చిందా మ్యామ్ కాల్?
వచ్చిందా? Yeah. So they have reached each and every individual. అదే వాట్సాప్ లో వచ్చింది that ఇది మీరు ఇన్వెస్ట్ చేస్తే 2000% increase అయింది, we will tell you how to invest in stocks and all.
Yeah.
So they have tried to reach everybody. Only thing is that if we have not become is because you are alert. And important is that cyber crime is one of the most preventable crime. If you are alert, they have not attacked your house or they lock break chesi me look, they have not entered. It's not anything. It is you are yourself opening everything for them. So this is very, very preventable if you're aware, if you're conscious, if you're alert.
మ్యామ్, యాజ్ అ డిపార్ట్మెంట్ హెడ్ కేవలం ఇన్వెస్టిగేషన్, స్క్రూటినీ, అండర్స్టాండింగ్, రీసెర్చ్ ఇవన్నీ చేయటమే కాకుండా ఇంకేమన్నా చేస్తున్నారా టు క్రియేట్ అవేర్నెస్ ఆర్ యునో టు హోల్డ్ సమ్ వర్క్ షాప్స్? బికాస్ ఇప్పుడు పీపుల్కి అవసరం, మీరు అన్నట్టు ప్రివెంటబుల్ క్రైమ్, అది మనం ప్రివెంట్ చేయొచ్చు, కానీ ఎంతవరకు అది ఒక డిపార్ట్మెంట్ తరపున మీరు హ్యాండిల్ చేస్తున్నారు అలాంటివి?
See, department taraf nunchi we are doing all awareness which is possible.
Okay.
Right? But awareness is never enough.
Right.
You know, so we are doing, for example, every Wednesday is a Cyber Jagruti Divas. So across the state, my cyber people, they visit our school, colleges, community, create awareness. Social media, our social media handles are, if you go to the Cyber Bureau handle, we have such lovely material on it to for you to anybody to go through and get know what do's and don'ts and everything. We are also doing certain targeted, so for example, if this is the category of people who are getting scammed, so that targeted awareness also we are doing.
Okay.
We are sending, we've contacted many companies and we're sending them regular emails about what scams are happening. Because you'll surprise, 56% of our victims are actually educated private employees, software engineers, doctors, like that. So we've got in touch with companies and we are sending them regular mails of these are the types of scams which are happening with individuals. We're not talking about attack on a company, those ransomware attacks. And then we tell them that okay, please circulate among your staff. So we're sending those very nicely designed emails of what is happening. You please circulate through your HR. And we welcome anybody who sees your program to get in touch with us. Because this is something very simple and it creates awareness. Your HR just sends those mails periodically. It will help. So we are doing, but yes, things like media and all, in cybercrime, we all have to get together because all of us are potential victims.
Right.
So that kind of awareness, the more people come to know, the better. Like I tell when they say digital arrest, that you were saying that the Skype, you come on Skype. You tell me which police officer ever asked you to come on Skype.
That's what
video call.
Ma'am, see, just now you said you also got such calls.
Yeah.
Just because you're a police officer yourself and I being a journalist, probably we have that intuitiveness that how can this be? I mean, we get a doubt. But most of the public don't get. What you said is the educated lot are only the trap because they don't doubt it. They feel, okay, maybe.
That's what I'm saying. It's surprising by how educated can feel that police will make a Skype call or police will ask, or that police or any agency is authorized to ask you to send money to an account. How can anybody in the government ask you that you send money to us in an account? It's not possible. So that awareness is required. There cannot be, no doubt about that. But yes, alone the bureau or alone the police or alone the government cannot do it. It needs all of us to be together.
It is a collaborative effort. I think everybody should be partners in this.
Yeah.
They need to work towards that. Yeah. అండ్ మ్యామ్, ద విమెన్ సేఫ్టీ వింగ్ విచ్ ఇస్ ద మోస్ట్ పవర్ఫుల్ రైట్ నౌ, అంటే ఇది చాలా ఒక భరోసా ఇస్తుంది చాలామంది మహిళలకి, ఆడవాళ్ళకి, ఎస్పెషల్లీ వర్కింగ్ విమెన్కి హూ వర్క్ లేట్ నైట్స్. అండ్ మీరు షీ టీమ్స్ పెట్టారు, భరోసా పెట్టారు, ఇప్పుడు లేటెస్ట్గా సాహస్ పెట్టారు. సో ఆల్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ మ్యామ్, వాట్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ అ షీల్డ్ ఆర్ ప్రొటెక్షన్ ఇస్ ఇట్ రియలీ గివింగ్? అంటే ఇప్పుడు కొన్ని మాటల్లో ఉంటాయి, కొన్ని చేతల్లో ఉంటాయి. సో మాటలని చేతలకి కన్వర్ట్ చేయటం ఎగ్జిక్యూషన్ లెవెల్లో ఎంతవరకు ఇది ఇట్ ఇస్ గివింగ్ రిజల్ట్స్ అంటే ఏం చెప్తారు?
See, the results are very good. You see, safety perception about Hyderabad or Telangana is very good. Yeah? You find girls moving around late in the night, groups of girls traveling. Telangana has the highest percentage of working women, right? All this is not possible. Many states can't claim it, that you will feel free to move around and on. Definitely, all these initiatives have led to creating of safety perception, safety protocols have been put in place, and simultaneously another important thing is the CCTV coverage. It has also created a lot of deterrence in the mind of others, because both the things have to go simultaneously. While we create a safety atmosphere, we also have to have that there is a certainty of being caught or a certainty of punishment when if you are indulging. So both of them have to go in hand. And when we talk about she team, the best part about, recently there's a lot of talk about some people going incognito and, very nice effort by certain officers in certain places. But our she teams have been doing this since 2018. Our she teams actually, they move in civis, like I'm sitting. So they move in civis only. And the other part, which is very important, is that safety of women is not the responsibility of only women per se or the women in the police, right? And therefore, the she teams have more men than women. And nobody believes that. When we talk about she teams, people think that it is a police which has women police officers and they are the ones. It's not. The team has more men than women. And that is actually the very important part. And not only in the police, in all our conversations, the safety or empowerment of women has to include men as the important stakeholders. Only when they are involved in that process do you will actually get safety. Like we say that rather than putting restrictions on our girl, we should actually teach our boys what to do and what not to do and how to behave. So that is, I think that is a very beautiful thing which she teams has. When you talk about working the Sahas initiative, again, the Sahas initiative was taken by us because we realized that many times the girl or a woman in the working environment is not even sure whether what is happening to her, does it mean anything wrong? Does it mean that she has a right to talk about it, ask about it, seek redressal? So this gives you a platform where you're outside, and they don't want to talk in their own organizations many times. To know that all you need to do is create a ticket with the Sahas desk. And some expert will talk to you, explain to you, tell you how to go about it, Besides other things that we help organizations in establishing internal committees, trainings, awareness. So that was the idea and the use of industry bodies to give that little bit nudge to the organization. See, this is not the area which we would typically say that we want to police. We don't want to police this area. This is an area where we want to create awareness, to create nudge, empower women to start taking action so that system, see, any law, any rule, anything which is there, unless and until the person for whom they are made are aware of their rights and responsibilities, implementation is not very effective. And therefore, the idea is to, if the woman knows that these are my rights and they know how to go about it, we can guide what you can do, then they will start using it. Presently, the number of women who complain is very, very extremely
I was
limited.
just about to ask that.
Yeah.
They are scared of victimization, further victimization.
See, that
because
is
of this.
see, that is what I'm saying. All these are because of lack of awareness, because you're not going, especially in crimes relating to women and children, underreporting is there.
Yeah.
Okay, whether it is domestic violence, whether it is partner violence, how many women report? And this is not an Indian phenomenon only.
Yeah.
Across the globe, partner violence in even Western countries, the reporting is very, very less. Very few women report, because these are in a way crimes where you have a lot of emotional attachment,
Yeah, true,
right?
true.
Similarly, child sexual abuse, again, very low reporting. Same will happen in these cases. Even what we used to say street harassment, with she teams, with creation of bharosa centers, where you are giving, creating kind of ecosystem,
Yeah.
enabling atmosphere where women and children can come and report. Not everybody was very comfortable walking into the police station.
Right.
Does not mean that we have not sensitized our police stations, but still, if you need that kind of a handling, you need that kind of privacy, you have somewhere, we've created that atmosphere.
Yeah.
Those enabling structures and things have been put in place, processes. So this has helped in improving the number
Yeah.
of reported also. So people keep asking me, you're talking about she teams, you're talking about Bharosa and everything, and still crime against women are increasing. So I always say, see, crime against women are not increasing. The reporting of crime against women is increasing, because we've created that enabling atmosphere.
Yeah.
Because women were not complaining or reporting. It has to be taken with that perspective.
Yeah. Ma'am, when the women are reporting, they're taking all that strength and power to come out and report against an abuse or against an attack or against some injustice. But ma'am, those women are again victimized. You have seen a recent incident in the film industry of a choreographer. She's being victimized on the social space, social media, కాన్స్టెంట్లీ. అంటే భయపడతారు కదా, అమ్మో ఇట్లా నేను ఇప్పుడు రిపోర్ట్ చేస్తే ఇంకెట్లా నన్నే విక్టిమైజ్ చేసేస్తున్నారు కదా అన్న ఫియర్ని ఎలా పోగొట్టాలి?
We are in a transition stage. I am saying, the society is in a transition stage. The women are in a transition stage. So in this transition stage, there is likely that these issues will arise.
Yeah.
But how do you overcome them? Okay. First is individual strength. See, you have to have strength and courage, because not reporting is not an answer.
Right.
Right. Issue is that why do these crimes continue to happen? Why the same person, especially in such kind of crimes, if he is not stopped at the very first, he gets emboldened. And the same person will commit more crime, and next time a more heinous. He'll become more confident, more emboldened. So it is responsibility of all of us that we should report. As far as police is concerned, we are doing a lot of our own department. We are, sensitized our people to ensure that a woman who comes to report to us is not re-victimized or re-traumatized, at least in the criminal justice system. Right? Imagine about 15-20 years back. Wasn't that case that even in the criminal justice system, the women felt re-victimized?
Very true.
And even now, there are many other states and countries where it is still true, where these mechanisms like Bharosa, the C, or this sensitization has not happened. It is still true, still happening. Therefore, if this change has happened, I'm sure that change will also happen. When you're talking about social media, what I feel is that the people who are the good people on the social media, or the people who have influence. I'm not talking strictly in terms of influencers, but who have influence. They should also start raising their voice. You need to counter that. What is happening that the ones who have to say, or who the negative voices take over the positive voices, because the positive are either not coming together, or they say ki chodo, it's not my, na koi mandi na diledu, didn't happen to me.
Correct.
Why should I bother? Enduku controversy lo enduku. It's all that kind of thing comes. That is something we need to come out as a society. If there are 4 people who are talking negatively, I think there should be 40 who should be supporting. And that will change. And I'm sure it will change. But it's taking that transition time.
Yes.
But that's something needs to change.
అప్పుడెప్పుడో జరిగితే ఇప్పుడు ఎందుకు చెప్తున్నారు? అప్పుడు జరిగిన ఇన్సిడెంట్ని ఇప్పుడు ఎందుకు లేవనెత్తున్నారు? అప్పుడు ఏమైంది? ఇట్ స్టార్టెడ్ ఆఫ్ విత్ మీ టూ మూమెంట్ వెన్ ఆల్ ద విమెన్ కేమ్ అవుట్ అండ్ సెడ్ 10 years బ్యాక్ ఇట్ హ్యాపెన్ టు మీ, 20 years బ్యాక్ అండ్ పీపుల్ స్టార్ట్ బ్యాక్లాషింగ్. అప్పుడెప్పుడు జరుగుతాయి ఇప్పుడు ఎందుకు? వాట్ డూ హ్యావ్ టు సే అబౌట్ దిస్ మ్యామ్? వెన్ సచ్ థింగ్స్ యూ హియర్, what needs to be done, how to address such things and what needs to be done?
When the law is giving you that provision that you can come and complain whatever the time, there are timelines defined. If you're doing it, it's fine. The delays can be explained. So as I said, it really doesn't matter. I mean, I'll say, but I don't know whether you watch Hindi movies or Hindi songs, but
I
वो कहते हैं कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे, लोगों का काम है कहना. So you don't bother about it. One shouldn't bother. And as I'm saying, the positive noise needs to take over and needs to shut the negative noise. That is something which is the responsibility of everyone who has some influence.
But people like you who are in the police force or who are heading such departments, don't you think, you should just pass a decree or say that, ఎప్పుడు జరిగిందన్నది ఇంపార్టెంట్ కాదు, జరిగిందా లేదా. ఆ అమ్మాయికి ఆ టైంలో తెలియదు, లేకపోతే ఫలానా అమ్మాయికి ఆ వయసులో అర్థం కాలేదు. దే డోంట్ ఈవెన్ నో వాట్ ఈస్ ద మీనింగ్ ఆఫ్ గ్రూమింగ్, దే డోంట్ ఈవెన్ నో వాట్ ఈస్ ద మీనింగ్ ఆఫ్ alluring or attracting. At that age many people don't know. So what's wrong, ma'am? That's my question.
That's what I'm saying. There's nothing wrong. And as far we are concerned, we are taking action as per law. Right. I wouldn't like to discuss a single case, but that's
Not
what
single
we
case. I mean,
So that other-
many cases
other
are
చెప్తున్నా.
intertwined.
we are taking action as per law. We are not questioning. As a department or as a legal we are not questioning. We are taking action against that. And that's what I'm saying. And people know that we've taken action. I cannot do policing on my policing or my investigation. When I say my, I mean the police
Yeah, your
department.
department, yeah.
Department is something which cannot be driven by media, right? Whatever be the media. We all know there are media trials and media investigations.
I know.
We cannot be driven by that, right? We have to keep ourselves aloof from all of that. Go into the facts and the circumstances, on the evidence, on the legality, and take action.
And ఇప్పుడు మీరు షీ టీమ్స్ పెట్టినప్పుడు మీరు ఒకటి రిలీజ్ చేశారు అంటే, షీ టీమ్స్ ఇది చేస్తుంది, అది చేస్తుంది, ఇలా చేసే వాళ్ళకి ఇలాంటి శిక్ష పడుతుంది, ఇలా మాట్లాడే వాళ్ళు ఈవెన్ మామూలు కళ్ళతో చూసి ఇలా సైగలు చేసినా కూడా శిక్షార్హులే, ఇలాంటి మీరు ఒకటి రిలీజ్ చేశారు కదా. అలానే అంటున్నాను, సాహస్కి కానీ ఇంకా దేనికైనా కానీ ఒక మోడస్ ఆపరెంట్ ఉంటుంది కదా. దిస్ ఈజ్ వాట్ ఇట్ ఈస్. యూ కాంట్ టాక్ లైక్ దట్. యూ కాంట్ గో అండ్ స్పీక్ వాట్ ఎవర్ యూ వాంట్.
So what constitutes sexual harassment? What are POSH Act? Lot of awareness is there, and we have created lot of material on our own site.
చేశారు, అందరూ చేశారు మ్యామ్, బట్ అది డీప్ డౌన్ ఇంకా జనాల్లోకి వెళ్ళట్లేదు. పీపుల్ ఆర్ టాకింగ్ వాట్ ఎవర్ దే వాంట్ టు టాక్.
As I'm saying that, transition phase is there.
Yeah.
And then as, till the concerned citizens, the concerned people, till they don't start raising their voice, it'll go on for some time. And then after that, as I said, automatically the things will change.
Ma'am, if I ask you, what are the stereotypes that you broke, ma'am?
The first stereotype is that I'm not a woman officer. So let's start with that. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm a police officer who happens to be woman.
Okay.
So that is the first stereotype, that
Yeah.
we are not women officers.
Yes.
So we start with that stereotype. And then, so definitely, so the first stereotype is this only.
You broke that.
All everyone who belongs to the female gender who've joined. So the first stereotype is this only, that you are treated as a woman officer and not a police officer. So that is and how do you break that? And the important is to break that by your own professionalism. You have to prove that yes, you are as good professionally as anybody. So the important part is that for everybody. And this narrative of male and female or men and women officers has to go off.
Yeah.
So we have to stop saying that. If we stop saying that everywhere, we have to stop saying that in the department, we have to stop saying it everywhere. And for anybody.
Yeah.
For example, journalist. You are a journalist, you're not a woman journalist.
Very true.
Right? But still now you will see that most of the time, even casually, people will be saying like that. So we need to break that our gender needs to be delinked from our professional lives, both for others and both for us also internally. Because as long as you start keeping into your mind that I am a woman, and you also start at times behaving like that instead of in the work sphere. I'm saying professional.
Yeah, in the work
I'm
sphere,
not. I'm not talking about any other. So that is where this is the first thing which all of us need to start doing it.
Okay.
So internally and externally. One is that, and then other that comes so many things, which means you cannot work, that you will take on leave or use something. So what happens is when your numbers are small in an organization which is dominated by the other gender, there is always you're always under scrutiny, and I think that, and that's true for any organization across.
Yeah.
What we need is, because the numbers are less.
Yeah.
When the numbers increase, automatically those distinguished things they die on their own.
Okay.
So for example, you look at the banking sector. Now, because the number of women in banking sectors are very high, so the workplace atmosphere is more women than men. And I personally feel that we don't need to be really 50%. Even if an organization has about 25 to 30% women, the culture changes.
Yeah.
So that is what will gradually happen and is happening wherever it is there.
So when you started off, it is 30 years almost, right? When you started off, how were you? Were you very, naive, innocent, gullible? Were you learning over the process, or you came with a conviction? How was it when you actually started off your career as an officer?
See, I believe I'm still naive and innocent. I would still like to believe I am. Because that makes you even more, you keep driving to be even better. And also, I'll still believe that I am like that.
Yeah.
But although you go through a training process, but nothing actually trains you when you are actually. So this is a job where you learn every day. So even now on my 30 years of service, if I don't learn, I feel that my growth has stopped, or that I am not satisfied. So this is something you keep learning everything, every new case, every different. Now that I'm holding the cyber bureau, I'm learning so many things about cyber thing, which, so it's a learning process. For the women's safety, we recently introduced the T-Safe service. Now that's also first of its kind in the country, a ride monitoring service, irrespective of the phone you carry. So it has taken away that digital kind of divide which was there, that only if you are a smartphone carrier can you have certain services. It takes that away from you. And this is something which it was very particular. So when my team sat and everybody kept saying we need an app, I said I need this. That any woman, irrespective of what phone she is carrying, even if she is carrying a smartphone, and she had not actually pre-downloaded an app, and she suddenly says, no, I need help, she can use it. That is something because of your experience, because what you're seeing, it comes to your mind. It was so satisfying to launch that thing, that yes, they kept saying, how will it happen? I said, that is the job of the technical people to get it. But this is my idea. What is new in getting an app? There are hundreds of private and other apps which are available. I don't want just one to add one that, okay, we've done it. We want something different which is useful. So it cuts across that digital divide amongst women, and it's open for men. I mean, it's
for everyone, whoever is in that
whoever, yes, that kind of. So, so these things, any difficult case is again, where I got posted to the city a few years back. It was the first time that I did Muharram bandobast of that scale. Things have increased over a period of time. And earlier, when I had worked in the city as a DCP, I was in the north part I was DCP North. Since the procession happens or everything in the southern part of the city, and you were looking after your northern part, you were not into that. So that was an extremely different experience. That kind of a procession being right in the heart of South City, and being able to handling or the Ganesh, because it's growing every day. So over the years, now when I was additional CP, 4 years back to back, I was at Tank Band for the Ganesh. These are the things you keep learning every day. Not only every day, in police, the interesting part is that there suddenly something may come up, and you have to think and react at that moment. COVID,
yeah.
Nobody ever trained or any that how police will act if there is a pandemic. There's no background, there's never anything like that. Every day we learned and unlearned during COVID. Although I wish that we never ever face such a pandemic in our lifetimes or even in future, but the amazing amount of learning which came in that, and the amazing amount of satisfaction it came in it, that that kind of a pride, that while everybody has to sit at home, you are leaving home.
Yes.
And you are on the walk, putting yourself at whatever risk it is there. I know that my children were worried. Both parents are out.
Yeah.
In that, while everybody is supposed to. And then, when you come back home, for all those months, we had talking to children at least from 12 feet distance. So you come there in one corner and you are in another corner. You're never sitting on the same table and sharing your food. But it gave a lot of pride that yes, maybe you are important, you are an important part of this entire scheme, in which maybe somehow some lives might have got saved because you were out.
Yeah.
So that's a different feeling altogether. Yeah.
There is a mother in every woman, irrespective of whether she becomes a mother or not. That is a material thing. But a woman has that basic tendency, innate motherly feelings. So when you're in this profession, how did that emotion help you to deal things differently?
Although I said that we are police officers, but then there are certain qualities which can help you in your job.
Yeah.
One is basically that women are known to be multitasking. Correct. So that multitasking really helps us in our work. Second is the empathy part. Like you saying, Mitara, I would say the empathy part.
Yeah.
So the empathy part comes more easily to us, right? And that does help us in anything. See, I always, in this job, the one thing which I always believe, or what has given me satisfaction, is I believe that I am in a job in which people don't come to you when they're happy. Only when they're in a crisis, only when they have something happens to them do they come to you.
True.
Okay, and there are chances, and there are very many instances where you may not be even able to help them legally in that very strictly terms. But I believe that anybody who comes in distress to the police, because mostly people come into us, I have always thought it that in every day, even if I can put smile on face of one person who comes to me, I'm happy. Somebody who comes to you in distress, and you at times all it needs is that you just listen to them.
Ante.
They'll come and they'll keep telling this. You just listen to them. And maybe there are times when I have told that I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do because it's beyond the police thing. There's certain things beyond which I can't do it. But I felt that, they were that, okay, at least somebody listened to us. So I think that is something which gives tremendous satisfaction. And that is something which I find is the beauty of this job.
On the other side of the coin, people say that, women bosses are taskmasters. It's not easy to work under a woman boss.
What is wrong in being a taskmaster?
I don't know, ma'am. There's nothing wrong, but that is in a negative sense, not in a positive way.
So let's take it in a positive sense. Yeah.
Yes. So when I'm sure you also must be hearing one of these lines on and off sometimes. So whenever you get to know or get to hear such things, how do you take it?
As I said, being a taskmaster, I don't think is a negative quality.
Okay.
I am happy to be known as a no-nonsense officer, right? I have no issues with it. And the other thing is that, I also believe that I need to be professionally competent. I also believe that as far as work is concerned, there are two different aspects for everybody. Even when we interact with our officers or anybody. So there is one part is your professional work or your professional conduct and all. The second part is your personal issue. Personal with respect to the department also. Like as far as work is concerned, I would like to be understood to be a hard taskmaster boss, a no-nonsense boss. I'm okay with it. I'm not here to be liked and become popular with my colleagues. So that's not what I'm here. I'm here to ensure that the work is done properly. But at the same time, when it comes to personal aspect of my officers or anybody, I like to be I'll be the most empathetic boss. So if somebody wants to come, and I never trouble people for leave, or if somebody is facing a personal crisis or somebody needs something, I wouldn't be in that. I think that is what is required. काम ना करके easy ले ले तो वो नहीं चलता. ठीक है.
So you're a taskmaster only in the workspace.
Yes,
When it comes
but when
to
your personal, I'll be the most. I'm the most empathetic, because I hope that all my people feel like that.
Okay.
So when it comes to their personal life, their personal spheres, I'm the one who would never be including helping out. There's so many my people. Somebody, if somebody is not well, somebody is in hospital, whatever. I mean, I would be the one who could. Be there. So I mean, that's what I hope I am doing. But personally, I try to do like that. So that is, I think, that's what I like to balance my.
Super, ma'am, normally as a woman, as me also, because of my demanding work timings and career, and my aspirations or ambitions, I really love my work, ma'am. But at the same time, on and off, sometimes I go through a little amount of guilt. Something in us pulls us to our house, to the husband, to the kids, to the in-laws, or the household chores. Somewhere we connect to that and we keep missing all that, and we have that guilt feeling that we are unable to do justice to that part of our life. ఎప్పుడైనా మీరు అలాంటి గిల్ట్కి లోన్ అవుతుంటారా? అంటే ఈ 30 ఏళ్లలో ఎప్పుడైనా?
ఉంటుంది. It's very natural.
Yeah.
See, this is very natural to feel guilty about the fact that कि family को मेरे ఎక్కువ time ఇస్తలేదు, పిల్లలకి you are not giving time. When I used to go for parent teacher meeting, me and my husband, because he's also there, we used to go for parent teacher meeting. We used to be at times I used to feel so guilty that the other mothers know so much about their child, their homework, their syllabus and everything, and I don't know anything about it. So that is something which is, but the thing is that I have stopped beating myself with guilt.
When was this awareness or awakening?
I think over a period of time it happened. I can't say
initially it was not that way.
You see, you keep feeling guilt. I think I think also it happens as your children grow up.
Right.
When they're younger, you feel more of it that you're not spending. Gradually, they also need you at least outwardly a little less.
Right.
But it happened. But I stopped feeling, because I realized that I cannot do justice to either of them if I keep doing that. So I don't even say that I have very set priorities.
Okay.
The priorities remain very dynamic. If today my child is really unwell, then everything else will be on side and I'll be there.
Yeah.
But if it is only a school function or I won't go for that and I'll do my job.
Okay.
As I said, for me, my job is important. Right? I'm not doing it as just part of a hobby or something. My job is important to me. My family is also important. But they have to keep adjusting depending on if there is a crisis, definitely whichever part is there takes over. Normally, otherwise, the job takes a priority, the family adjusts. And I have seen that, although we feel very guilty about it, family, the children, they adjust quite naturally to all these things. And, in fact, I always kept talking about work-life balance in the sense that, we try to balance, something will fall, like I used to keep citing them. But the other day I was just listening to one of the interviews by Indra Nooyi, and she says, what is balance?
Yeah.
There's nothing balanced. Let's just don't even talk about it. It's a myth. So let's not start talking about it at all.
Yeah.
So it is there. Only thing is, and I won't even say that it's the quantity and it's the quality and not the quantity. I personally feel that, these are certain, the way I work on my commitment also has given some value to my children. Those values get added. They also see that, okay, they are doing, so like they probably hopefully will also turn out to be better human beings. But I'll say my contribution is very minimal. God has been greater probably.
That's okay, ma'am. But ఎప్పుడైనా ఒక సిచ్యువేషన్ వచ్చిందా, పర్సనల్ లైఫ్లో ఒక క్రైసిస్, అదే టైంలో ఆఫీస్ లైఫ్లో ఒక క్రైసిస్, రెండు ఒకేసారి వచ్చాయి, ఏం చేయాలి అన్న ఎప్పుడన్నా సందిగ్ధం, ఎప్పుడన్నా అలాంటి ఒక సిచ్యువేషన్ మీరు ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ అయ్యారా మీ కెరియర్లో?
It happens.
Yeah.
There are times when something has happened, you have to rush from your office and go for something. I've left meeting to go there. And there have also been times where I have oh, because I have something important, I had started, I've taken a child to the doctor, and then since it's taking time or it has to be there, I've asked my husband, you please come, I'll come back to office. So I think at times I feel that we should not be, even because we keep talking and talking about this, we start feeling as if it's very big thing. I think it's very normal. If you work normally, in the course of time, things get adjusted, and so we should not make too much about.
But what do you enjoy the most, ma'am, with respect to your family or your kids or your husband or your house? What is it that you really, really love the most?
I mean, there isn't any very particular activity or somebody would say that these are the things we really do together.
Like whatever, ma'am, like cooking together or going to films or, such things. I mean, do you take out time?
It depends on whenever it is possible. We do it. I mean, it's not that there is anything very particular ki ye karke hum hai. It's like depends. It just depends how things are going on. We try to be, at least if they are at home, try to eat together dinner. That's one thing we try to do. But then,
do you take out time for vacations? Put on a family vacations at
yeah, once in a while, yeah. Thing is that in your initial part of career, a lot of things suffer because your career is also more demanding. The children are younger, they are demanding. So that is the time when you do more of this. Now, over a period of year where you also learned and grown in the career, the children have also grown. So things become easier to manage and all. So yes, you whenever possible, once in a while, yeah.
కొన్ని థింగ్స్ ఉన్నాయి నాకు ఇష్టమైనవి, నా హాబీస్, నేను బికాస్ ఆఫ్ మై కెరియర్, నాకు పిల్లలు, వీటితో వల్ల ఐ కుడెంట్ పర్స్యూ అని అనుకున్నవి ఇప్పుడు ఏమైనా అలాంటివి కొన్ని థింక్ చేస్తున్నారు? ఐ డూయింగ్ సంథింగ్ అవుట్ ఆఫ్ ది బాక్స్?
Not presently. I think probably I'll do now after I retire. So I think everything else has taken a back seat because when the job is so demanding and you are hardly finding time even to take care of the family, the question of hobbies is definitely.
ఇప్పుడు ఏమైనా మైండ్ లో ఉన్నాయా కొన్ని, ఎప్పుడైనా టైం దొరికినప్పుడు ఇది చెయ్యాలి అది చెయ్యాలి?
As I said, I stopped beating myself with guilt for everything. Right, so that includes that also. Abhi theek hai, so I one date which is final for all of us is our retirement date. So I know that after retirement there'll be plenty of time to do all the things which you didn't do at that time, so it's okay.
Yes, wonderful. Finally, ma'am, before we end, you still have any aims and aspirations? You want to do something else in life?
My aims are, I'm not a very ambitious person, but those, I mean, if that is, there's nothing wrong in being ambitious, but I don't have, all I want to do is continue to do good work. As I said, smile on one person's face in a day makes me enough for me. I'm satisfied. I always pray to God that health be on our side, the family does well, the children do well. I always reminded of what my parents used to tell me, that the growth of any family is if your children do better than you. So I just keep praying to God that hopefully they do better than us, and I think I'm good enough.
Finally, rapid fire kind of.
Oh my God, that's
ma'am, most challenging moment of your career which remained in your mind and heart forever and ever till date?
The first time I saw a dead body. Basically, I was in JNK and it was the first time that, and I was doing my training as in charge of SHO of a police station. And that is the time we came to know that two bodies, a couple, man and a woman body, have been decomposed bodies have been found floating in the river, and they were taken out. And since I was the SHO, I had to go and investigate that. So yes, that is the first, I can still remember that scene because that's the first time I really saw dead bodies. The only before that was a dead body when you were in training and you were taken to a mortuary. But that we went in a group of 40 of us, 40, 50 of us. That doesn't create that impact. But there also have to behave like an officer. You have to investigate and highly putrefied bodies. So yeah, that is something which I have it in mind. And that is also something which helped me create a reputation for myself because all the men around me expected me to probably become nauseous, yes, or fall or wo, because they kept saying, madam, aapko jaane ki zarurat nahi hai, wo kuch nahi hai. So I said, nahi, mujhe jana hai. So that also created a wo that, okay, I went about, did everything professionally and came out. I also learned a very big lesson there that you have to emotionally disconnect yourself when you are doing something professionally or from a scene of offense or a scene of crime. That was my first learning. Nobody taught that learning in the academies. That was the first time I learned that if you detach yourself emotionally, then it doesn't affect you. I didn't have any sleepless night, or I didn't cry later, or I didn't have nausea even after coming back to my. Because when you disconnect emotionally, and I'm such an emotional person otherwise, that even today I can cry after seeing a movie, right? But not in my professional life. So if you disconnect that, you can do your job, Roger. That was the biggest learning in that time.
Okay. Most breathtaking investigation.
Many of them. But the issue is that personal investigations are very early for us in career. After that, you don't do personal investigation. So while there have been many, but some of them have been spoken too much, I'll talk about some other one, because there's some which everybody knows, which is that. As ASP in Rajahmundry.
Okay.
There we had a rape investigation which I did in Rajahmundry. So that I will say that was a very tragic investigation, not a breathtaking investigation. It was a very tragic investigation where there was a rape of a girl. A lot of issues coming up, including a lot of agitations relating to all that. So that was an investigation which I haven't much talked about. I've talked about others. So yes, that was an important investigation.
There was any conclusion to that case?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Convictions happened.
Yeah.
Most weird moment that you experienced. You must have really put in your mind, heart and soul into that case and investigation. Suddenly you find that it is a very trivial one, normal one, nothing to be spoken about.
That happens many times again. I would say one of the most weird, or one of the most awkward, I'll say, is that I think that is also spoken about in the media, and many people who know me at that time still talk about is that when I was DCP North, and we had caught an individual who was actually into conning models and actresses. So we caught that guy. Otherwise, a very, very serious fan of one of the Bollywood actresses, that person. And otherwise, when we caught him, he was actually conning some of the local models and actresses and also. And when we were having a press conference, and that the person, so when the press started questioning him, and suddenly he came up and says there in front of them that after that actress, I don't like to name her, the Bollywood actress, my next favorite is Marion. That was a very weird and awkward moment, that you are doing a press conference, putting an accused in front, and he says, now my most favorite is this one. So it's like, so that was very awkward. Very awkward. Yeah.
Ma'am, most emotional moment when you met any of these victims, women, especially the women victims?
See, the one which really shook me was the rape of a toddler in Bharosa. I think the child was some 17, 18 months old. That really shook me. That kind of, every rape, whatever be the age, or every sexual assault is heartbreaking and heart-rending. But a child of 1.5 year being subjected to that. And one for us, obviously, and thanks to that, we had a Bharosa Center for the counselors to even talk and, show pictures, and to child can't even tell what had hit. So we had to show pictures, and then they could tell. And then, on the part of the innocence of the child, that at that point of time, she didn't know anything. She was like happily playing with all the toys and all which we have in the Bharosa Center, while they were trying to talk to her and find out. And also at the back of the mind, that maybe in future what trauma she will have when she, maybe whether she would remember, not remember, and whether it will have any psychological impact on her or not. That was something which really very revolting. Extremely revolting, and extremely something which makes you very angry, that is can humans behave like that?
Now your career is always surrounded by crimes, investigations, this kind of all kind of this kind of
that's police job
కదా చూస్తుంటారు కదా. ఎప్పుడైనా అవి ఇంటర్నలైజ్ చేసుకొని ఓవర్ కాషియస్ అయిపోయి, ఓవర్ ప్రొటెక్టివ్ అయిపోయి, ఇంట్లో కొంచెం దిగ్బంధం చేసి అలా చేస్తుంటారా?
Back of the mind ఉంటుంది, right? Many times it happens, especially because I have young children. Ade ఉంటుంది, like there is more fear. Because we see so much, there is definitely more fear. it happens. I mean, however conscious you are,
Yeah.
because you've seen the worst type.
Right.
So you are at times more controlling. Uh, at times, because you children don't listen these days and you
Yeah,
can't control them, then you are worrying more.
Yes.
You keep worrying about. I'll say that yes, at times I live in fear,
Yeah.
because I know very well, and we both as a couple also know that you can't, you can't lock up your children.
Right, right.
But because you've seen so much which happens, and how you worry a lot. Yeah, it happens.
Finally, ma'am, one hobby of yours, please. What is it?
I'm addicted to OTT.
Ah, what do you watch mostly?
I usually watch foreign series.
Okay.
Either they are crime series or legal based series, or otherwise they are very soft romantic series, depending on my mood.
Okay.
So that's what
So
I'm.
you're already day to night. You're into crime. Still, you want to see crime, ma'am.
Somehow I
You don't want to get into something else, mythology, comedy,
comedy
thrillers.
movies I like.
Okay.
But that is, I watch again some comedy series, movies I like. As I said, so some nice, soft, romantic or comedy stuff I do watch. But yes, I do get hooked on to the crime and all, especially of abroad, because the way they show, sometimes you feel that professionalism is quite, and it's quite interesting, especially the way they are made. They're very well produced and all that. So I do get a tendency to get hooked on
ఇండియన్ కాప్ స్టోరీస్ ఏమైనా చూస్తారా మ్యామ్? చూసారా ఇంతకు ముందు గతంలో ఎప్పుడైనా? పోనీ మీకు నచ్చిన కాప్ ఫిల్మ్ ఏమైనా ఉందా?
Only cop film I enjoyed was Dabangg of Salman Khan. So I don't like to watch real life cop stories of India.
Oh.
I like to keep that only for the job part.
Okay.
So, but that nice, funny part, yes, I liked. So I liked the Dabangg series. Yeah.
Do you sing, ma'am?
Not at all. Not at all. Not even a bathroom singer.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am. Really nice talking to you. And you've always been an inspiration, ma'am. When I started my career, I've been closely following you. It's been 20 years for my career. And I've been closely following you, and we have interacted a couple of times on various issues. And I really, really feel so nice and proud seeing you grow like this, ma'am. And
God has been great.
many more years of success to you. Thank you so much for being on my show.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. Thank you.
I have a gift hamper for you
Oh.
from Planet Green.
Okay.
These days I'm just supporting sustainability. I am, promoting. So they are into
Getting
sustainable-
hampers, I'm feeling I'm on Coffee with Karan.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. So the gift hamper from Planet Green, ma'am. This is into sustainability.